Hello, my name is Boitumelo Maruping, the owner of Richter Hospitality. My company is divided into two sectors. It provides service and business sector. Under the service sector, I provide training for the hospitality staff, and where consultation is needed, I provide it to see whether the staff I've trained has shown improvement. The business sector is basically more of having pop-up restaurants and also catering services. Now, the reason why I started this company was because I saw there was a need, or rather an opportunity, in the hospitality industry itself. As most of the guest houses, BBs, and lodges, they hire people who lack the fundamentals of working either as a front office agent, a housekeeper, or a chef, even waitressing. Now, this makes my company very unique because what I do is both beneficial to my clientele and their staff, or rather the employee. What I mean by that is that I help cut down cost and also provide their staff with certificates when they're done with the program. Now that's very pleasing to my clientele because now they don't have to send their staff out to an institute who will take them a year or two to finish a program which they could acquire in less than a week or a month. For the clientele, that's cutting down costs, as I had said, and for the staff or their employees is for them getting a certification for that department that they've trained for. And because of that creativity thinking, it has helped my business become more unique and more of a need in the industry itself. Now, for the future entrepreneurs, for those who would be interested to follow that path, the most important thing that you have to look into is do a thorough research. Look at the opportunity. Where there's a challenge, it means there's an opportunity for you to provide service or to create a business that will benefit the community or the business at large. But most importantly, you need to be unique. Or rather, you have to make sure that the business that you provide is different from your competitors so that you can be a demand. And that's what separates you from being a regular entrepreneur and a unique entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurs will always need creativity to create opportunities. You can hardly change some of your business environments, but opportunities can show themselves when certain things happen. Things such as changing circumstances, inconsistencies, confusion, and information gaps. COVID-19 has created a scenario where the above four elements are to a certain extent met. There has been a dramatic change in the lives of people. There are large information gaps. People are confused and instructions are inconsistent. This could be the time for a smart entrepreneur to make money. The 3P model of creativity. This is an easy way of explaining creativity from an entrepreneurial point of view. This model consists of three key elements: person, process, and product. Creativity can be learned and developed over time. The following three factors characterize a creative person. 1. Expertise. A person's knowledge, skills, and experience that could be applied to a particular situation is gained over time. 2. Motivation. This is a catalyst to encourage action. Motivation may be intrinsic and extrinsic, meaning that it can be from external factors and from the person actually motivating themselves. And number 3, creative thinking skills. The way a person thinks will play a big role in how they will solve problems. People think, act, and react differently. Process refers to the process which is applied to creative thinking. 1. Identify an opportunity based on a need that is not satisfied. 2. Rethink the idea or opportunity till you are certain you understand it fully. 3. Turn the idea or opportunity into a product or service that can be sold at a profit. 4. Protection, patenting, or copywriting. The first three steps are those used in the creativity process, whereas the last one is a way to protect your creativity. Other creative thinking or problem-solving techniques include, but are not limited to, brainstorming, the SWOT analysis, PESTLE, which looks at the political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environment. So basically it looks at the whole business environment aspect of things. Let's jump into a few of the problem solving techniques. So 1. The 5W and H technique. This is a questioning technique where one asks themselves questions. What, where, when, why, who, and how. The association technique. You will try to identify links or associations between related or unrelated processes, situations, objects, or ideas to help try solve a problem. The problem reversal technique. With this technique, you try to look at problems from many different perspectives. Inside, outside, all around essentially. The 10th man rule. This is a technique created by the Israelis. With this rule, the leaders intentionally choose at least one person who is a dissenter or who will raise objections to every solution so as to try to create contingency plans for all obstacles raised. The assumption with this technique is that we all want harmony, and through agreement we find this harmony. But with the 10th man rule, we look for somebody who will purposefully destabilize that harmony. Some other problem-solving techniques include the following. Delphi. This helps to find out how people feel with the aim of reaching a common ground. People are selected and their opinions are canvassed through questionnaires. From their responses, a second questionnaire is compiled and sent out for rating. Between 2 to 5 questionnaires may be used. This is an effective method, but the disadvantage is that there is a huge administrative burden in the collection and collation or combining of responses. Force field analysis. When there is doubt about a change to be made, the force field technique is used. Here, the pros and cons of the decided step are listed. Thereafter, they are weighted. Adding the weights attached to each one of the pros and the cons will give an indication of which side is favored in the decision. Empty chair technique. Using a chair with an imaginary person to listen to the problem helps to stimulate thinking. The participant speaks to an empty chair where he or she imagines another person is sitting. The participant has the opportunity to put her or his point across, and then they decide to take the position of the other imaginary person and respond to these points. This helps in understanding another point of view. The nominal group technique. This keeps contributions anonymous so as not to embarrass participants. This technique uses cards on which participants write down their responses. These cards are then collected and redistributed. These are read out and discussed, leading to a decision. So, you've now created your product or service, and naturally it is a success from the person and the process elements of the 3P model of creativity. Now the question is, how do you protect this idea or service? Well, one of the first steps is patenting or patents. Patents are for the protection of new goods and or maybe services that did not exist previously or that are adequately different from the known. Okay. In South Africa, some of the ideas or innovations which cannot be patented include mathematical methods, fashion designs, like aesthetic creations, architectural designs, investment and insurance schemes, any business methods, credit or stock control, or the transportation thereof. Another method of protection involves licensing or know-how. This refers to know-how which could be licensed to others for their use in return for a payment. So a big example of this would be franchises and franchising models, where the entrepreneur sells their business knowledge to the franchisee, who buys it in the hopes of making a profit. Another way of protecting your ideas is trademarking or trademarks. This normally works with logos or names which are associated with a particular business in the market. For a trademark to be protected, it needs to be significantly different from other registered trademarks. So an example of trademarks would be the Apple logo, any logo for that matter. If it is a logo which is different from other logos on the market, then you can trademark it. Nobody else can use that logo. And then there is unlawful competition. This law prevents a person or business from conducting itself in any manner which would deliberately confuse customers into believing it is the original business or offering the service from the original business. So basically, this deals with counterfeiting. You cannot, by law, create goods which look like the original. Yes, it is done. Yes, it is unlawful. That is why the police sometimes perform raids on people who sell counterfeit products. And then copyright. Copyright refers to the copying of work without the required permission to do so. Copyright applies to literary works, so books, films, sound recordings, engineering, drawings, and pictures. Yes, it does happen that you guys will also know this when you reach university. A lot of people actually copy textbooks. That is illegal, people. You cannot do that. There's fair use, which is allowed in the Copyright Act, but generally, copying work which does not belong to you falls under infringement of copyright. Indigenous thinking. This is a way of thinking or producing things having been passed down from generation to generation. The world is looking at the old ways of doing things because they are different, they are unique, and they are, most importantly, creative. However, be careful because it could also hamper creativity. Old people generally like saying, no, we cannot do this because it is not how things used to be done. Or, no, we need to look at the old ways of doing things. But the world is continuously changing. I mean, if you actually think about it, it took just about 60 years for the world to reach the level of technology that we have today.